Okay, we are live. We are live, and we got a couple of folks in the house early. A couple of folks in the house. Stig is one of them, and he says, "Good evening, Craig and everybody."
Good
And
evening.
this is
I think I have to
I'm gonna
move
call
in
I'm gonna call
closer.
this one 66. You need to move closer,
Yeah,
so I need to move over.
a little bit, please.
Is
That's
that
better.
better?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah,
Closeness,
66.
closeness. Okay, 66 in the house. That's right. And so we're going to get right at it. We've got a special broadcast, special by request broadcast today. And why don't you go ahead and bring up the Grand Seiko set on,
Flicker.
yeah, so we get that ready to go. And we're going to be talking about the 9F movement. We're looking at it right there. That's Brianna's stunner that's on her wrist right there when we were doing a battery replacement. We're going to do that. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the amazing spring drive. The 002 stunner is on my wrist now. And of course, the 231 stunner, we're going to talk about that. There's a loom shot of that puppy and another close up shot. And there's a close-up shot of the 002 spring drive. We're going to talk about the spring drive and the 9F movement, and we're going to make the case that these actually have a soul. There are people that in the forums and so forth that say that these watches don't have a soul, but I'm saying that they. Okay, it's been a long day, but a fun day. I made a road trip over to Little Treasury Jewelers in Gambrels, Maryland, and I picked up this SBGY 002 Grand Seiko 18 karat gold dress watch stunner. It was very difficult to get this watch. It took a couple of months to get this watch. There's only been a few of them in the United States of America, and Steve now has two of them. I took this one home, and he has one more available, and they may be very hard to get from this point forward. So if you want one of these watches, you might want to grab the second one that he has in stock. And this was an absolute stunner. I've seen videos. Tim at the Watchbox has a video up, and I've seen other videos, and I've seen photos, but in person it is just absolutely stunning. And these video clips that I'm showing you here certainly do not do it justice. You have to see this watch in person. You have to try it on. It feels so comfortable on wrist. And there it is with the plastic. So there we go. And we are going to be talking about this. And let's see what this one is here. Well, actually, I want to see the, let's check this out. Okay, so sometimes you're wearing a suit and you just want to have a beautiful dress watch, something really elegant, something that forms. That's the watch that you're wearing.
And I'm wearing something elegant. So,
That's the watch that you're wearing.
yeah.
And check out the sweep of the second hand.
Whoa. Cool.
So, folks, if that doesn't have soul, that sweep. Okay, so let's talk about this. Let's talk about folks in some of these forums that say because these watches, the spring drive in particular, has a quartz unit that actually regulates the speed of the sweep and therefore the accuracy. It actually breaks it. It actually slows it down. The tri-synchro regulator, or whatever they call it, it slows it down so that it's at just the right pace. And it's an electromagnetic uh, situation there as far as how it regulates that. And it is ingenious. And they say, but because there's a quartz crystal involved in the signaling and so on, that it doesn't have any soul. But here's the thing. That movement literally took decades to develop, and it is groundbreaking. And I'll tell you, others have tried and failed. And it took quite a while for Grand Seiko to perfect it. And they perfected it to the point where it's sort of like with the Toyota Prius, the 2004 model, which was the second gen, where uh, Toyota wanted that car to be absolutely perfect because they were trying to convince people that a hybrid was the way to go and that they would be reliable and so forth. So they almost overdid it. They almost made it even too reliable to where the cars pretty much last forever. Grand Seiko did the same thing with the spring drive, where they just wanted it perfect. They wanted it to literally run for decades without any issues whatsoever. And they did it. They did it because this thing's been out for like 20 or 30 years, something like that now. And everybody that's had them for literally decades now has reported that they're just stellar as far as the reliability. It's just amazing how bulletproof reliable they are. And you don't need to do anything to them. You don't need to service them. You don't need to do anything because it doesn't have the typical escapement that has a lot of wear and tear in a watch. And so you eliminate a lot of that wear and tear. And the way the whole thing's designed, it's almost impossible for it to lose accuracy over time because the regulator will literally regulate it so that it's accurate. Even if the mechanical parts of the movement get a little wear or whatever and slow down a little bit or whatever, it just doesn't break it as much then because it's breaking it, it's slowing it down to the right speed. So if it wasn't regulated, it would be running too fast. Okay. And so because of the way it's designed, even if there's a little more drag on that mechanical movement, it's still going to be accurate literally after decades of use. So to say it's ingenious is an understatement. And to say that development and that watch and the beauty of that watch that doesn't have a soul, I think is an insult to the people who literally poured their souls into developing and making that watch a reality.
Yeah.
And then moving on to the 9F movement, if somebody wants a straight up quartz movement that's powered by a battery, they went the extra mile on that as well to make it extremely robust, to make it something that will run for 50 years without doing anything but changing the battery about every 3 years. To me, that's an amazing piece as well. And so, teach their own if you don't respect what these two movements are. But I think if you don't, I think you're missing out on something that's really special. Our Wags is in the house, and I think I showed this from Kyle.
Kyle, yes.
Our Wags is in the house, and he respects quality, and he knows quality when he sees it.
Yeah.
And so I'd be interested to hear what he has to say. Stig in the house. Cheers, Mr. Submariner. Lady Brianna, looking great as always. Hope you're feeling well. Yeah, this came from Saks Fifth Avenue. You got a little hair on there. This came from Saks Fifth Avenue, and it's a cashmere blend.
Yeah.
And it's really nice.
Yeah.
It's really nice. And you got it at the GW store.
The GW
you got
store.
it at Vree got that at the GW store. She's got a good eye for quality. Talk about a classy young lady. And then the blouse you're wearing is linen. It's linen
from Goodwill too,
and it's from the GW store as well. Looking good in red. There you go. And see, Bree
but this you got at eBay.
Bree has a really good eye for quality, and she has an advantage.
I'm very picky.
She has an advantage at the GW store in that
the clothes.
She can wear the little sizes. And what happens is this is a thing in nature that happens. What happens is ladies sometimes buy clothing that's too small for them because they don't want to admit, for example, let's say they're a size 8. They buy a size 6 because they don't want to admit that they're a size 8. Yeah. And then they buy it, they get it home, that's too small. It doesn't fit, right? And so it goes in the closet. And then they say to themselves, well, I'm going to lose some weight, and so I'll be able to wear this thing later. And then they go up to a size 10, okay? So they went the wrong direction.
Opposite.
And then what happens is after a couple of years of finally realizing that there's no way they're going to get into a size 6 ever in their life, they then donate it to Goodwill, and it's still pretty much brand new. And so then the lovely lady Brianna can pick it up for 10 cents on the dollar, or maybe 5 cents on the dollar, maybe even 2 cents on the dollar, and wear it and enjoy it. So I think that's a good deal.
I think so.
And Kyle says, cheers to you. And Craig, how come you spotted GS at first? Okay, here's what happened with the GS with me.
Yeah.
I heard about Grand Seiko watches, and at some point, this was after I had the 007, the Shogun, the Seiko diver that I did a video on. It's on the channel here. After I did that video, I somehow stumbled across a video from Arizona Fine Time, I think, that was like, this was like 10 years ago. They did this video of the diver, the spring drive diver that is the predecessor to this watch here. Okay, the predecessor to that watch there. They did a video on it, and somehow I stumbled across that video, and I was kind of impressed. I was like, I really like the 007, but this Grand Seiko is a step up on that watch.
An upgrade.
And so I said, man, since I like the 007 so much, and this other watch looks like it's a major step up from the 007, I said, I got to check this out. And at the time I was in Florida, and the nearest dealer was like an hour and a half away. And so I put it off. I didn't do it. I didn't go to the AD. So then I was up here in Maryland, and somehow I got wind that Steve was a Grand Seiko dealer at Little Treasury. And it's also an hour and a half, hour and 15 minutes, depending on the traffic. But one day I just decided, hey, I want to go there. I want to take a road trip and go there. I called Steve and I told him about the video I'd done on the 07. At that point, it had like 600,000 views. And I said, listen, I just want to come and take some photos of this watch and maybe do a little video. Would you mind if I did that for my channel? I didn't tell him I was interested in buying one at the time. And of course, I always have cash with me, right? But
so
anyway,
when is this, like 2 years ago?
It's like 4 years ago now.
Okay.
So I go there and I had cash with me, and I checked out the watch, and I was really impressed. Of course, I didn't tell Steve that at the time. I said, well, it's nice, you know. And I was wearing my Date 8 at the time, my Rolex Date 8. So I was like, you know, it's all right, but you know. And so, but then I made him an offer, a cash offer. I literally put the cash on the counter. And I said, this is all the cash I have with me today. And here it is on your counter. You can either take this cash and give me the watch, or I can take the cash back with me and do a video on my YouTube channel, and it's all good. Well, make a long story short, he took the cash, and the rest is history. We've become friends, and I've bought other watches from him. Well, this one. Well, actually watches. I bought a couple other watches that I don't have anymore from him.
What about this one?
I bought that from him. I bought that. Hey, it turns out I've bought a bunch of watches from Steve. So our Wags is in the house. Craig, you and I believe pretty much the same about quality. We grew up in the area of U.S. made items. We knew they were quality and built to last. Yeah, people really cared about what they did, the tradesmen and the people that created. And, you know, there's still some of that alive today. We just got the word that your purse is on the way.
The leather crossbody purse.
It is going to be amazing. Oh, can you find it on? Is it still in a tab there? Anyway, find it. This is a gentleman out in Washington State, right? Or is it Oregon? It's Washington State. Seattle. Out in Seattle, and they make these purses there. And this is the companion crossbody in small size.
Out of stock now because we bought it.
That Bree bought, and not only did they produce that for her, but they also put a handle on the top for a special handle that is normally not on there. They did that special for the lady Brianna. And go ahead and click on that and show them the pictures.
USA.
It's just really, these are really robust, really well made. They're designed to last multiple lifetimes for you to hand it down to the next generation. And I just think it's so cool that he would make a purse at that level of quality because so often you see the ladies' purses that are just really poorly made. They just don't hold up. And I don't care if it's a Chanel purse or whatever. These luxury brands, Louis Vuitton. I mean, they just don't hold up. They're just not that well made. And then when you see something like this that's just over the top quality, every stress point is riveted with a either copper or brass rivet. All the hardware is solid brass. It's veg tanned, heavy duty veg tanned leather. It's just over the top. I really like I really like that sort of thing. I think it's cool. And she's getting that purse for a fraction of the cost of a high-end designer purse,
Mhm.
and it's 10 times the purse. And it's going to look
So much
great.
better.
It's going to look great. Now, it's not an evening wear purse. It's not a formal it's just like an
It's
everyday
a daily
use all the time
wear.
purse.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's just amazing. So let's go back. And actually, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to switch brands. I've never done this live on a show. Well, actually, let's see if there's anything else we want to show here. Oh, the 231 sweep. Let's show this. And I'll tell you what, this is the reaction when people see the sweep of the second hand.
It's really beautiful. It's really beautiful.
Yeah, right?
It's really beautiful. It's really beautiful.
So
Guys,
that's the reaction. That's the reaction when they
It's
see
really
that, when they
beautiful.
see these stunners, right? When they see these stunners, that's typically the reaction. And there's Breeze Watch next to mine with the faux pay in the foreground. So that is pretty freaking amazing. Okay, let's go
I
back
think
here.
so.
And Blue is saying hello to all. Okay. All right, so let's switch. We've never done this live on the show, have we? We're going to switch brands. We're going to go to Mid-Atlantic TV. And this is the deal. Always go for quality. Always. That's the shirt I have on right now. That's the shirt I have on right now. And speaking of quality, these folks were on the show one time. Remember that? Remember them when they were on the show? They've actually been on the show a couple of times.
Yeah.
And here is the HD straps. Talk about quality. He did the strap for mine. He did the strap for your watch. There's an HD strap right there. And speaking of Leslie, that was her birthday present, right? Remember that? Remember that little trip down memory lane now? A 2-watch combo meal deal. That's the 2-watch combo meal deal that I have right now. And speaking of quality, how about Lucchese boots that were made in San Antonio? Alligator. How about that? And we always say on this channel, pass on the ugly watches. Pass on the ugly watches. No reason to get an ugly watch, right?
Pass on the Auckland.
Just get a Grand Seiko. Just get a Grand Seiko and get it from Steve. Steve, that's what you do. You get it from Steve. Oh, we need to email Steve the link.
Oh, that's right.
So in case he wants to come in, let's invite him.
Yeah.
Copy to the clipboard. Give us a second here, guys. This is live on the show. We're emailing this to Steve. Compose, ST, there he is. Show link.
Hopefully he can come in.
Join.
And update us.
Okay.
What he's
and
been
Bree,
up to.
Can you text him on my phone and tell him that I just emailed him the link? There you go. And it's great to have an assistant here. Assisting the situation. Let's see. Blue says, greetings, Bree. Wink and looking sharp. Yeah, and Blue is in the house. Kyle Jet coming to us from California. And I think Carlos is going to be there visiting them soon.
Carlos.
Right? I think so. I think he's going to be visiting them in California.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
But he hasn't been on the chat. recently.
He hasn't been on the chat. Maybe he's been traveling.
Yeah.
Maybe he's
busy.
on the road.
Busy guy.
So let's get back in here a second and see what else we want to show. Oh, remember this? Remember the Bitcoin race car? Bitcoin's over 63,000 right now. Whoa.
It's pumping.
A little pump. And a lot of these folks in the forums, they have box watches. They have what I call box watches, the watches that stay in the box.
Yeah.
That they dare not wear them. How about these rare Daytonas? These are all in the box, nice and safe. All these Daytonas safe in the box. This guy probably thinks they're a good investment, right? Can you imagine if he took that money and put it in Bitcoin, what his returns would be compared to those? Can you imagine? He thinks he's sitting on a good return, right? He hasn't compared it to having that money in Bitcoin. He should sell all those, tell you the truth, buy a gold stunner from Steve, a gold Grand Seiko stunner from Steve, something like this, and then put the rest of the money in Bitcoin and call it a day. And look at that loom. Look at that loom shot. And this was Steve Young. He had an 1807. See in the bottom right-hand corner of that? That's Steve Young, the owner of the Hunan restaurant. And he had that 007. And not 007, 1807. It's similar to our Wags, his watch. So he had that, and he's the owner of the Hunan restaurant. And then, of course, here's the picture of me having my birthday party. And we can show a close-up of this. If we go to camera 2.
Yes.
You can hold that pretty close. You got to get it real close.
So,
well, no, yeah, show that, and then show the picture. And you're going to have to get it close. Yeah, so it's in focus. See, there's me. There's yours truly with an 1803 on, I believe, at that point in time. And doing a little toast, happy birthday. I don't remember which birthday that was. That might have been my 21st. Might have been.
Holy crap. Oh, while I'm at it.
Let's
show this.
Something like that.
Stunner.
Oh, look at this. Look at this stunner live on the channel. You get it in focus there.
It's so cool.
Yeah, that was looking pretty good there. Don't move it around quite so much. Get it right so that Grand Seiko's in focus. A little closer. I think you got to get closer. There we go. See it? See it getting it? No, that's too close. There you go. You can move it back and forth. That's right in focus. Man, that is stunning. Look at that gold. And it's got a patina on it. Yeah, it was dropped on asphalt. Yes, it was. It was dropped on asphalt.
Yeah.
But it survived and it's working. Talk about a watch with soul. Anybody that says that watch doesn't have soul, I think they don't know what they're talking about. And here's the Craigster standing in front of the Cadillac 7-passenger sedan, the 1977 Cadillac 7-passenger sedan. And that's a day date on my wrist. Yeah, that's what that is. That's a day date there. They said, well, he didn't really wear those watches back in the day. You know, he's just talking, blah, blah, blah.
Is that an alligator belt too?
And that I don't think that belt's alligator, that tell you the truth, or that one. It might be. But those are, of course, Ray-Ban Ambramatics on my head.
What about the pants?
Those are just like a fairly inexpensive pair of khakis, just run-of-the-mill khakis. I didn't have Bill's khakis back then. Unfortunately, Bill's khakis didn't exist. So those are just some decent, halfway decent khakis. And then that's Admiral Day standing next to me. He's wearing a Rolex also.
Cool.
And then, of course, there's me, and I've got a day date on the left hand there, and it's conventional clasp. Here's another shot. You can see it a little better there. Conventional clasp on that. That is a day date with a president bracelet, but with the non-hidden clasp, a conventional clasp bracelet. I used to like that because it had micro adjustments. And there's Laura Dodge in the background with the Ray-Bans on, and her dad, Dodge Street in Omaha, Nebraska, is named after her great-great-grandfather or whatever. They owned like half of the city. Very wealthy.
Holy crap.
And that is, of course, Paul Newman wearing his day date at the racetrack. Not day date, wearing his Daytona at the racetrack. So that's how that whole thing works, folks. That's how the whole thing works. And there's Craig back in the day. They said, well, Craig didn't dress nice back in the day.
Even at like 5 years old.
He never wore like, yeah, he never wore like 3-piece suits or anything back in the day. You know, he didn't do any of that stuff. And yeah, that's how that whole thing works. And there's
Cufflinks?
the Stevester from Little Treasury.
You have cufflinks?
This is signet rings. Signet rings.
Signet rings have been popular lately.
Yeah, and people
Really
are starting
common.
to get them now.
Yeah.
People are starting to get them now. And
think they're
there's
copying
the
off you.
Stevester. He's wearing the 002 in that picture. He's wearing the 002. So there we go. Okay.
They
So
might be copying off of you because I've been seeing signet rings.
you've started to see some signet rings. And here's
Yeah.
Triforce Rich said, wait, 2 shows this week. Okay, Carlos is in the pool. Okay. 2 shows this week. Okay. And this is a show. This is on by request. Tom requested, and I don't see him in here yet, but he requested this show.
Well, it's still pretty early.
Kyle's in the house. He said,
It's like
Craig,
6
are you
a.m.
holding MicroStrategy? No, I am not. I should have bought it. I do have GBTC in my Roth IRA, and it has done really well. But yeah, that would have been a good play, but they both have performed well. GBTC has performed well. MicroStrategies have performed well.
They both have Bitcoin.
But yeah, that's a good way to sideload some Bitcoin if you are in like some kind of retirement account and you can't buy the actual real thing. That is probably the next best thing. Or
I'll
go USD. I'm not sure what that is. Okay. Surprise broadcast.
Yeah.
Triforce Rich. Craig, who introduced you to Bill's khakis? Okay, so I heard Glenn Beck doing some radio spots about them back in the day, and then there was a store called King's Menswear, and this was about the year 2000, and they were a sponsor on Frederick.com, and they were in downtown Frederick, and they actually went out of business, and they sold Bill's khakis, and I bought 2 pairs from them before they went out of business at basically the full price. And then a couple years after that, when they went out of business, I bought several pairs at a deep discount from them. But yeah, that's how I learned about them, is from radio spots by Glenn Beck. He was hired to promote Bill's khakis, and he did a great job. And I actually met him one time. See if you can pull up Glenn Beck on my Flickr there. See if we can find a picture of him. Glenn, GLENN BECK, I guess. Though 2 words. Put it in as 2 words. And see if we can find him. There he is on the Segway. Yeah, click on that. And so I'm pretty sure he's probably wearing Bill's khakis in that picture. So that's him on my Segway. That was the first Segway that I had. See, it has Frederick.com on the front. And I can hear him, oh, well, he's just talking. He didn't have a Segway back in 2002. You know, he didn't buy one of the first Segways in Frederick County. They were expensive back then. He wouldn't have bought one of those. You know, yeah, he's just talking. You know,
he doesn't have one.
He doesn't know Glenn. He never met Glenn Beck, and he could never get Glenn Beck to go on the Segway. You know, Glenn Beck would never stand on the Segway for a photograph. Anyway, I can hear them all now in the forums, right? So that's how that whole thing worked. Stig's in the house. That Cadillac, was it a Fleetwood with the V8 170 horsepower? Okay, that had the 425 cubic inch engine, the 1977, and that was on the commercial chassis. So that was a 7-passenger sedan. So that was a bigger radiator and all that stuff, right? So that was a factory commercial chassis, unlike the rigs that after that they started cutting them in half and stretching them. And this was an actual commercial chassis. And so I'm not sure the horsepower rating, but it had plenty of power. It was the 425 cubic inch engine. And remember, those had a lot of torque back then. So even if the horsepower rating was kind of low, they had plenty of torque, and all of those Cadillacs would get up and go. I never owned a Cadillac that didn't have plenty of power. I didn't own any of the ones with like the V8 6.4 engine, or they even put a V6 in some of them, and the HT 4100, that we used to call that a chocolate engine because they would literally melt. I never owned any of those. The last Cadillacs that I owned were like 1979. That was really the last of the good ones with the metal window lifts in them, and the 425 engine. 1979 would have been the last year for all that good stuff. So there you go. Bree, how
Bree,
active was Craig back
what?
in the day?
How attractive?
Craig
Just
can't
kidding.
read, but other than that,
I would say attractive. I would say so.
there you go. And Bree's an expert. So we're not going to argue with it. Which Tom suggested this, Austin or Chamberlain?
yeah,
I think it was
this one.
Chamberlain, wasn't it? I think it was Chamberlain.
Wait. Was it? Hey guys.
You're going to check the comments, right?
Yeah.
Bree's going to do research right here live on the channel. What's that? Algorand. What's that mean?
That's probably some altcoin.
Oh, okay. So whose khakis are ready? Bill's khakis or Phil's khakis? Good question.
Phil's khakis.
I just went on Bill's khakis website. The slimmest fit they have is straight fit. Why doesn't Bill make a slim fit? Well, probably because slim fit doesn't make any sense, Triforce Rich. They look goofy. I know you like them because, you know, they show off your physique more, but trust me, it's not the way to go. That you can, folks can tell that you're well put together, even if you're wearing the normal fit. Trust me, they can tell. They're not stupid. They are not that, especially ladies. They can tell. And it's gonna, and your knees and your legs are gonna thank you when you sit down, because they're gonna be much more comfortable with that extra fabric in the legs.
Oh yeah.
Craig, if you suddenly found yourself completely cash broke, what would get sold first? Some BTC or your $1 million wardrobe? Yeah, I would definitely sell some of the clothing items. Absolutely, I would sell that. I would sell some of the real estate before I would sell Bitcoin. So yeah.
Before you would sell, what the heck?
Yeah, I would sell real estate.
But you said Bitcoin.
I said before I would sell Bitcoin.
If you had the choice.
Yeah, I would sell the real estate before I would sell Bitcoin. So if I had sold everything, let's say I'd sold the clothes, the real estate, you know, a kidney, my watches, the last thing I would sell is Bitcoin. Bitcoin goes last. Kyle says people these days are pretty stupid.
Pretty stupid.
Really? I thought I was the only one that thought that. But oh well. And a lot of them aren't buying Bitcoin.
We've been running into a lot of scams.
A lot of them aren't buying Bitcoin. You look at me, you give me that surprised look on your face. Trust me, a lot of them are not buying Bitcoin. Even today, now that it's really safe to buy now. It's not even a risk now. It's pretty much a sure thing. They're still not buying it.
It's literally below 100,000.
They're not. Yeah, Bitcoin below $100,000 is a steal. Triforce Rich just announced, Bree, do you think I would look good in a pair of Bill's khakis? And if so, which size do you recommend? Could you go on the website and compare sizes? Yeah, you can go on there and take a look.
Okay, so on the sole thing.
Now here's a question. Okay. Do you think a guy's butt, his butt, looks good in Bill's khakis?
Yes.
There you go. That's all. That's all you needed to hear, Triforce Rich. Okay. She said a guy's butt looks good in Bill's khakis. So I think that answers your question. But go ahead and go on Bill's khakis. Go on the website and let's pick out a pair for him. So I'm guessing it is not too very tight underwear. I prefer boxers to briefs myself. That's right. That's the way to do it. Is boxers. Boxers and regular fit, just the regular fit. I would get the original. I would get the original khakis, tell you the truth. They are kind of loose fit, but I still think that's the way to go. Reza, hi there, Craig. You and Bree look like CNN panel today. Well, I'll take that as a compliment.
Thank you.
I'll take that as a compliment. Thank you. Craig, what pants would you recommend for a senile president who poops himself in public? Yeah, something plastic lined, I guess.
Okay, so I'm on the website. Where should I go?
Would be the way to go there. Let's see here. You're on Bills. Okay, here we go. Here we go. M3 straight fit. Where's the M1? Where's the M1? Is it still here?
Relax fit.
M1, yeah, M1. I think that's what he should get. M1.
Oh, I see.
Those are relaxed though. He wants the is the classic fit tighter? Is that what he's saying? Okay.
So those go up to the waist?
Yeah. Yeah, they're not hip huggers. These are the ones I have, the M1s, the original twill. Click on that. Yeah. British khaki. Yeah. But here's the thing. Don't buy them here on billskhakis.com. Buy them on eBay.
eBay, yeah.
You can get them all day long for anywhere from 20 to 40 bucks in mint condition. I'm talking mint. No signs of anywhere. Mint. Some of them are actually brand new.
Don't go here.
Some of them are new old stock. Buy them on
Might be
eBay.
expensive.
Just find out what waist you wear, what waist size you wear. And then doesn't matter the length. You can get them hemmed at any decent, cleaners can hem them.
Or
And
my mom.
or Bree's mom can hem them. So buy them on eBay. You'll get 3 or 4 pairs for the same price as buying 1 pair there. Why wouldn't you do that? Let's see. Just let the boys hang out. Give them some air. Okay.
Where do you purchase
Where do you purchase bills? We just talked about that.
eBay.
There you go. Rich wants his hipper fits like men's leggings, M3, LOL. Okay, so go ahead and go to eBay.
Yeah.
And do a search for Bill's khakis. And let's just put size 34 in there, just for a test here.
Bill's khakis.
Bill's khakis. Put size 34. Bill's khakis, size 34, and let's see what comes up. And what you would do, guys, is you would save the search. Please give the argument why one should spend $200 on a pair of Bill's khakis versus $30 khakis from Walmart. Don't just buy the Bill's khakis for $30 on eBay. That's what you do, because the khakis on Walmart are junk. They're not even close. Oh, honey, no, Bree, not the ones for $99. Here's ones brand new for $55. Click on that. Okay, here's a brand new pair of Bill's khakis. There you go. I kind of like that color too.
Me too.
Scroll through it. I like them. Oh, hold on. So, no, freeze on that. How do you like that? Them apples.
Made in USA.
Made in USA. Waist 34. Keep going. Look at that.
Pennsylvania.
Brand new. Oh, those are corduroys. I don't have a pair of corduroy ones. Those are cool. That wouldn't be my first pick, but if I had a couple of other pairs, I'd get a pair of corduroy. Okay, so get on out of this. Let's see what else we can find. Going back, scroll down to some. There's a pair for $12. What the hell's wrong with them? Was 15. Go ahead and bring those up. Live on the channel here. And let's see, are they worn out? Do they have issues?
Yeah, they look
Because
greenish.
they're pretty cheap. They actually don't look, they actually look like they might just need to be pressed.
Yeah.
They don't look that terrible.
That's USA too.
Anyway, my point is you just search around and find them. And if it's make an offer, right? Scroll down and see if you can find any others that look interesting. Keep going.
That one's nice. But those brand new. Keep
going. But I mean, these are a lot cheaper than on the website, and these brand new ones.
I know.
There's a pair that are weathered canvas that are brand new that are $80. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. I'm trying to get past the ones that are brand new and just find some that are just mint condition. Okay, what do we have there for 46? What's that? Click on that. Oh, those are corduroy also. Okay, so go back. Those are $46. Go back. Well, anyway, we're not going to burn up airtime here doing the search for you guys. Google it. Google it yourself. You know what I mean? eBay it.
eBay it.
Well, so what you do, so here's what you do. Okay, here's a tip. Here's a pro tip. What you do is you figure out the size you wear and search on eBay. Let's say you wear 34 times 30 length. Search that, Bill's khakis, and then save that search. And then you're going to get an email every time something comes in that matches that search. And then if it's a good one, you snag it. Look who we have. Look who we have in Dodge coming on in here.
Hey
It's the man
guys,
himself. Can you hear us?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear.
Yep.
We were talking about Grand Seiko and
So I
the
heard.
spring
So I
drive,
heard.
the spring drive,
Mhm.
and the 9F movements. And I made my case as to why they have soul, why they have a soul. So I'm going to make you full screen here, solo layout. I'm going to bring you full screen. Man, you look sharp, Steve. What have
Well,
you been doing? You must have been doing something
What
right.
watch are you wearing?
huh? I am wearing SBGC 205.
You must. Hey,
Nice.
tell us your secret. My God, you look like 10 years younger than the last time I saw you. What the hell have you been
Yeah.
doing?
I've been
Yeah,
doing
yeah.
a lot of walking. I
That's
Man,
good.
ramped up my
That's good.
walking.
you look good,
So,
Steve.
yep, and I'm on my MacBook Air camera. I couldn't rejigger my home setup since I took everything to work. And
Well, that's the new MacBook Air, right?
yeah,
And did they upgrade the camera in that?
I guess so.
I think they did because it looks pretty good.
Yeah, it's not bad. So I'm
Yeah.
on that, and I have a external microphone. But yeah, we've been fiddling, watching you for the last 10 minutes or so.
How did you wrangle the microphone?
I got this little lavalier thing, and I've just plugged it right into the air.
Wow, it
Yeah.
sounds great.
Yeah,
You look like a 60 Minutes anchor.
60
Yeah.
minutes anchor. Wow. At least it's not a Fox News anchor, right?
Well, I was
Somebody said
accused earlier of being a CNN anchor.
Panel guy.
So I upgraded you.
Okay, thank you.
So I already gave my argument. What would be your argument for start with the spring drive first?
Okay.
Why does it have soul?
Well, I mean, it's extremely mechanical. The chronograph movement that I have has around 400 parts in it. I ran a video of a watchmaker from Tokyo who was in our store a couple of years ago assembling the movement. It took him almost an hour, and extremely complex. I mean, it's fundamentally mechanical with the little bit of electricity that does the controlling, and that the little video, which was done with just a camera sitting there, showing the hands, not the watchmaker's face or anything. I think it's got about 110,000 views, and pretty crudely done. And but it just shows the amount of personal, physical intervention on the part of a watchmaker for something that some people deride as being an electronic device, and it's far more than that. So, and that particular movement is the only one that they can't service here in the U.S. Has to go back to Japan right now because no one is fully trained on putting that together. So, soul for me as a wearer, I delight in the fact that when I put the watch on and I take it off at night when I come home, and put it back on. Sometimes it's almost exhausted because I'm not the most active guy in the world. The power reserve is almost on empty. That darn watch is right on the minute and right on the second. I don't set it with the atomic clock, but I do set it visually as best I can. And it's a totally different experience than all the other mechanical watches that I have. And so it's an old, reliable friend. And there's a lot of handwork and artisanship in the movement in the watch. So for me, it has soul. So
And that, yeah, that I think sums it up. But I'll add to that, and we mentioned this earlier, it literally took decades of an individual pouring his soul into the whole concept and
mhm,
not letting go that it was doable, and working at it and working at it and working
mhm,
at it until he finally perfected it, to the point where I would
mhm,
make the argument, and I think there is only a weak counter argument. I would make the argument that it's one of the most reliable movements ever produced from a standpoint of long-term reliability
mhm,
and being robust and so on, because you've
mhm,
eliminated that escapement and that wear and tear that
mhm.
occurs in that escapement mechanism.
And they implement it with the chronograph, with GMTs, and it's extremely robust. It just works, and we've sold hundreds of them, and virtually no problems.
Here's a question for you, Steve. Steve, who tends to have the highest IQ? GS owners, Rolex owners, or Tudor owners?
Oh, that's a tough one. So, well, probably the Rolex and Tudor owners who come into the store who are switching to Grand Seiko, I would say.
That shows that they're really on
Yeah,
top of their
they're
game.
really on the ball. They've learned from their past experiences, and they're doing the right.
That is an indicator of a high
They're
IQ,
Yeah,
is
they're
it is.
upgrading it.
the ability
Yeah.
to self-upgrade. Yes.
Mhm.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
so we've got another question, Steve. Do you have an SBGX 269?
Personally, or in the store,
I guess he's saying in the store.
not sure. I'll have to check. We have our inventory is very full.
Mhm.
I think we got about 100 pieces in the store. And who's that question? Oh, from Kyle.
Kyle.
Yeah. I think we might, but I'll have to get back to you, Kyle. I know where you live.
And so Triforce Rich says Rolex owners are too rich to worry about an IQ. GS owners need to be smart, or they can't, or they can't get by, whatever that means.
Yeah.
Tudor owners, God bless their poor souls. Okay. Um, okay. GS owners need to be smart, or they, okay. So that's the same thing. Okay. So then we've got somebody's laughing out loud.
Yeah.
And then the highest IQ are for people who buy from Steve. Yes, I
There you go.
think
There
he
you go.
explained that.
Right.
And what about people that make multiple purchases from Steve?
They're through the roof.
They're the highest,
They're 150 plus.
especially if they not only buy watches, but they
Uh-huh.
also buy faux pay.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Hey, Craig, I gotta correct you on something.
Okay, hold on a second. I'm going to take you off of full screen
You're gonna take me off the air, right?
so that no
Yeah.
exit solo.
I just
There
got
we
the
go.
hook, folks. Sorry,
Yeah,
goodbye.
well, this is one step away from taking you off the air.
Yeah, right. And then I become the little thing in the corner, right?
Yeah.
So, okay, so how we met, and this
Uh-huh.
is, and I see this all the time in the store, how people that have the same transactional experience with a customer or whatever, and see it totally different, total different story. So my story on our meeting event
Mhm. Yep.
is that you came in the store. I'm not sure I even remember an advance call. And this guy comes in the store, and we did have a transaction. I think you did cash, and you probably gored my ox a little bit. But interesting fellow in front of me. And then he says, "Wait a minute." And he goes out, comes back in the store with a holster, two holsters on. And I'm thinking he's about ready to drill me. But then I look down and I see a camera on either hip. I said, "What the heck is this?" I didn't know what you were about. And you pull out one camera and you put me up against the wall. And you say, "Okay, tell me about Little Treasury." And so extemporaneously, I rattled off 3-4 minutes, elevator speech plus on Little Treasury. And then Craig holsters that one camera, he pulls out the other one, says, "Now tell me about Grand Seiko." And so I rattled off about Grand Seiko for a while, and then he saddled up his horse and rode off into the sunset. Next thing I know, I'm on YouTube. So that's how I saw it.
Yeah, I think Steve this has to be Steve's explanation, because, he's got brands and all that he
Yeah.
has to worry about. And this wild guy comes in there
Oh,
shooting
I
all kinds
see.
of photos
I
and
see.
videos, this literally
Yeah.
wild west guy, right? And
Really,
so,
I-
yeah, Steve,
Wild
Steve,
West.
what kind of a cowboy is this?
yeah, this is the type of thing. This is like that elementary school, exercise where the one kid says a secret to the other one that goes all the way around the circle, and then by
Oh,
the time it
yeah.
gets around,
The
it's
phone message.
totally different. Yeah,
Right,
and
right.
so we'll get somebody else's story of how it happened, and that's going to
How it
be
happened.
totally different again.
Right,
But the important thing is that it happened. That's the
right.
important thing.
There you are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes how it happened
We're
is
here now.
not as big a deal as the fact
Yeah.
that it happened.
And it's been a fun ride. It's been a fun ride indeed.
And somebody says, let's see, tell Craigster about your bump with Sophia Loren. So
I told you that story. How do you
I
know that
think you
story?
told that story, but I guess they want to hear it again.
Okay, so that was back in the day when I was traveling around Europe, hitchhiking for my post-college year. And I was in Napoli, and a fellow, sort of artsy-looking fellow, comes up to me on the street and says, "Oh, you want to be in a movie?" And I said, "I don't know." And being a raw, fresh out of college kid, and I said, "Well, I guess so." And he said, "We'll pay you." And it actually was quite a bit of money for what I had in my pocket at the time. And he says, "Oh, great!" And he gives me a kiss. And I said, "Oh boy, what's going on here?" He says, "Follow me." And we go a couple blocks, and there's a whole setup in the street with the lights and the cameras, and actually it's Vittorio De Sica, and Sophia Loren was there, and who's her leading man at the time, who was always in there. So they were filming a sequence for Marriage Italian Style. And she was coming out of her lawyer's office and looking into a store window, and a reflection of her. And she looks at herself and crosses the street. And my job was to walk along the sidewalk, and she sort of crosses in front of me, but we couldn't get the timing right. And so we bumped into each other. We did maybe 10 takes or more. And
oh yeah, so yeah, it sounds like you maybe didn't get the timing right on purpose.
Right, I sped up, of course, a little bit.
Yeah.
Right.
Now we're getting the
So,
deal
anyway,
here.
that was it. So if you pull up an old copy of Marriage Italian Style, and you look at Sophia Loren looking in the store window and turning around, walking across the street, I have my 2 or 3 seconds of fame. I have a little goatee, and I have a leather vest on, and look quite a bit better than I do today.
So where is this? Is this public somewhere?
No,
Is it on
Naples.
YouTube? Can we
Huh?
find it? Do you
Yeah,
know?
yeah, it's still out there. If you maybe it's in Netflix or something like that. There was Divorce
Netflix.
Italian Style, and then Marriage
Still on
Italian Style.
Netflix.
Marriage Italian Style. We got to
Yeah.
find it. We got to
Yeah.
find it, and we
Marriage
got to pull that. We
Italian
got to get that clip, Bree, and we'll put that clip in the clips that we can
It's
play.
very brief, but I'll tell you, it
Well,
took
no,
an hour to film it.
we like
Yeah.
little clips like that to play. Oh, let me show you one that I added just the other day. This is a good one. Hold on a second here.
Yeah.
I just added this, and I want you to tell me what movie this is from. And I think I added it to the Bitcoin brand.
Yeah.
Let me find this. You're gonna laugh. That this is
Whoa.
how did we get that on there, Bree?
Yeah.
Brand.
Oops.
Okay, we're gonna click this and then click that. That'll get rid of it. Okay.
Oh,
Here's
cool.
the video. Hold on a second and tell me what movie this is from. You're going to recognize this.
Maybe not.
Golden stuff ain't good for nothing except for making jewelry with gold teeth.
What the heck is that?
Golden stuff ain't good for nothing except for making jewelry with gold teeth.
I
He
don't know.
says gold is certainly good for nothing, just making jewelry or gold teeth.
Oh, I don't
What
know.
movie is that from? Let me play it again.
Gold itself ain't good for nothing except for making jewelry with. Gold teeth.
Don't know.
He
It's a
talks
Humphrey
really fast.
Bogart movie. It's Treasure of Sierra Madre. Remember
Madre.
the one where
Okay.
they're going after the gold?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
That was a classic. And
Uh-huh.
I just put that in there because I've been making the case on Bitcoin Twitter that the only use case for gold is fine jewelry, and then I talk
Uh-huh.
about about the jewelry that I've
Right.
gotten from Little Treasury Jewelers.
Propay. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what
Okay.
gold is good for. So we got to
Good for
switch
good
this
for
back
that.
to Mid-Atlantic TV. There we
Yeah.
go. I like the way you can switch brands on the fly here. Okay, so let me go back here to Triforce Rich. We got 2 more comments. Most guys brag about picking up a girl at the local bar, but Steve pulled Sophia Loren. Yeah, he's not telling the
Yeah.
rest of the story, right? What happened after he bumped into her 10 times during the shooting.
That's it.
He's
Yeah.
not talking about the after party.
I think I went and spent my little stipend on a nice meal.
The most beautiful woman in film: 1, Grace Kelly; 2, Maureen O'Hara; 3, Catherine Deneuve. There
Woo.
you go. He's
Is
got
that
good taste. He's got good taste. All right. So what else? I think we're good. We've been
Yeah.
going an hour. We've been going an hour. Any other news? It's been a while since we've had you on. Any other news from Little Treasury?
Not too much. Just the new pieces are pouring in from most of the brands, and so we're just have our hands full, unpacking boxes, getting things out, taking
Are
calls.
the supply lines getting a little better? I mean, that things were
It's
slow there for a while. Is that
we're,
improving?
we're getting product, but it's a little raggedy, I would say. So that
Well,
we might
raggedy in the terms of, you mean not consistent, or the
no,
products?
we might have pre-orders for a number of pieces of a particular model, and 1 or 2 will show up, and then there's a protracted wait for the additional pieces.
Okay, so it's not a quality thing; it's a quantity thing.
A delivery thing is not
Okay, gotcha,
not a smooth flow. It's coming in bursts.
gotcha.
So,
Okay, but you're smart enough to be getting enough to have a little bit of a pad, especially on Grand Seiko. You've made it a point to have a good solid
yeah,
inventory.
we have back stock on a lot of pieces. So
Yeah, and our Wags is in the house. This
Oh no, we're past.
we
it.
saw that. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I'm in the wrong spot here as usual. Okay. All right. Are these the
Craig,
last
don't
2?
end.
Oh, Derek says don't
We
end.
wanna end the
Triforce Rich, Steve, how would you rate that Italian restaurant you recommended us out of 10? I thought it was phenomenal, but I want to get perspective from someone with your experience in travel.
I'm forgetting which one. Did we had one in the center? Was that the one, or not? There was another one about 10 miles away. I would have recommended. I don't know if you made that trip. The one in the center, I'd say, is a 7.
Okay.
It's new, and so sometimes service is a little raggedy, to repeat myself. But some of the food has been really good. And then I have another place, my secret place, 10 minutes or so away from the store, that's super, like an 11. And
Yeah, he does say he followed up with it's the one by your store. So you're
yeah,
saying it's
yeah.
a 7. Yeah.
7, 8. But some dishes are really through the roof good. So yeah, we're very happy it's there. So
And we got a question about the Emerald Grand Seiko SBGD 207 that cost 200,000. Have you seen that one live?
I have not. Did Reza want to consider ordering one?
Yeah, we can arrange for you
I
to have.
probably,
There's only
yeah, I was
15
working it.
only 15 pieces
Yeah.
were made,
Mm-hmm.
and if somebody can get a hold of one, it'll be Steve. All right. Well,
Okay.
another successful show is in the
Thank you.
can, and Steve, Little Treasury. Let's put a banner across here. Do we have a banner with his URL on it, Bree? we have something? Here we go. Look at this. Look at this. How's
Hey,
that?
now, there you are.
How's that?
Thank
Yeah.
you.
What do you think about that, Steve?
I think that's excellent. And you had
How's
it right.
that for service?
You had it in the pocket.
And
That's good.
let's see if we have anything else here. Do we have anything else here for Steve? We should, but we must have it in the oh, I know what we got to do. Let's check. Let's switch.
Change brands.
Hey, let's go to the little treasury brand. Look at that. Oh, look at that.
Oh, cool.
Whoa.
Yeah,
That's looking good. I'm
it
liking
is.
that.
You got the full deck here.
And let's see what else we can do here. Oh, we got to go here. Oh, wow. This is going to be cool. Let's see what
Oh,
we
but
can.
you gotta switch. You gotta switch.
Oh, I got to switch here too. Oh boy, you're really making me work. Okay. All right.
There it is.
Here we go. Which one do we want? We want this one? No, we want.
Live.
Let's just do. Hey, yeah. Let's do the ticker. Look at that. Steve
Oh,
Live.
wow.
Steve, you got to add some more banners to your
I
thing.
know,
We're going to
I
add
know.
some more for him. We got to have a
Okay.
few more to select.
Yeah,
Here's a
freshen
ticker
up,
with your.
freshen
Here's
up.
a ticker with your URL.
Cool.
So we
Okay.
need a ticker with his name and his URL
Yes.
All right. Okay.
and Grand Seiko.
Yes.
And also
Okay.
this color might be a little bit bright, the blue. It doesn't quite match the GS color. So maybe that
Oh,
color needs to be a little
more
more,
darker.
a little bit, I think. Well,
Like maybe.
but I like his backdrop. I
Yeah.
like that.
I like that a
And I
lot.
like his logo
Me
in the
too.
upper right.
Yeah. Nice.
Oh my gosh, we got 6 more comments. Come on, guys. We're trying to
Oh,
wrap this
no,
thing up.
Derek is having a fit.
Derek is saying
And
we can't
now
end.
Blue
Yeah, he's
has
having a
gotten in
hissy
there
fit.
too.
And Steve reminds me of Vittorio De Sica
Vittorio De
from the
Sica.
movie The Biggest Bundle of them All, 1968, with Raquel Welch.
I'll have
Whoa.
to check that out.
So
Yeah.
now you've been starring with Raquel as well.
Yes, I
Geez,
know.
Steve, you
That's
get
amazing.
around.
I do.
You do get around. Snap.
Yeah.
All right. That's the
Okay.
mic drop there.
All right.
Thanks for coming in, everybody. Thanks for watching. And we are going to cut to the stunner that's on the bench. That one's on the bench right now because the 002 is on my wrist. So that's the stunner with Steve. And we're going to wrap it up with 20 live viewers. Thanks, everybody, for
Wrap it
watching.
up.
And we
Thank
will.
you.
Yeah.
We will be here.
Thank
And
you.
somebody says Steve has Raquel on speed dial. Oh my goodness. Don't tell his wife. Don't tell his wife that. And
Stop
somebody,
the show.
and Durr says we can't stop until Megan shows
Oh,
up.
jeez.
No, wait, Steve.
All right. Carry on,
All
everybody.
right, you
Thanks
gotta
for
get that
watching.
there, and thank you very much. Appreciate
Don't
it.
wrap the puppy up.
Bye-bye.
Bye.